guy.
Did you just say guy while you were fapping?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I can't blame you for that.
Some people say God, some say guy. You know, that puts you on the level, guy. You should take that as a compliment.
By the way, I am a legal reverend in Maryland. I don't think I've ever mentioned that. Legal.
I think you have.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have a marriage minister status in New York myself.
Do you?
Yeah.
Have you ever married anybody?
Not yet. I've been trying to. I mean, I went through the Universal Church and did the online thing.
We are brethren. That's the church. I couldn't remember the damn name. Did it cost you any money?
No, but I'm thinking of just paying the $20 and printing out the certificate.
I got a very nice certificate, and you get a little handy wallet-sized card in case that ever comes up as an icebreaker with people. And I noticed for an additional fee, now it may have changed, you can change your title. I mean, you basically have the same power that God lets you have, depending on the fee, but you can name yourself the Grand Wizard, the Pope, even Voodoo Master. But it is very legal in many states. You can marry people, and I think it's very important that now that we are brethren, that from the same church, the Universal Church of give me $20 and get a cool little certificate. It's a good thing because I think it brings us closer together in this bonding of evil-ishness.
Actually, I actually wrote vows. I wrote a wedding speech just in case because I was very intent on making this a business. What? Did I eat it?
No, read it.
Hold on, let me see. Well, I don't know where it's at. I don't have it pulled up. But we're gathered here today to join these two fucking retards in unholy matrimony, some shit like that.
I like it. It's got a pop to it necessarily. Now, let me ask you this. It's important because New York is obviously a gay marrying city at this point, state, I believe. Well, Florida, we're all about the cock thing here now. So
yeah.
Would you
marry yes.
Would I marry you and K-Tap? Yeah, of course, for the right price.
Yeah. So what would be your fee? It's supposed to be a gift, by the way. You're not actually supposed to charge a fee. Yeah. You decide what God thinks of your pittance.
You know what? People that are marrying couples these days, they ought to go and say, we're gathered here today to see how long you motherfuckers last, because statistics say you ain't going to make it. Now, the question is, how long can you make it until he's farting in your fucking face and you're cheating on him and he's telling you to go to the kitchen and cook food and you're telling him to cut the lawn for the 16th time this week and you're throwing shit at each other and you hate each other's fucking guts and you want to kill each other, but you get a divorce instead.
Hallelujah, brother. Hallelujah. You know, the Time magazine actually they broke down the average marriage by minutes.
Wow.
That's a little, honestly, that's a little scary. I don't know where they get their stats from, but the average marriage ended up being something like, it ended up being like less than 3 years. The average marriage today in the United States of America is less than 3 years. Think about that. You're pretty much just, people go to, I don't know.
I can tell you the secret to staying together. The secret to staying together in today's America is finding someone who likes alone time but does care about you. And Dennis Leary touched on this like 15 years ago. He said, I go to my fucking room, she goes to her fucking room, we come out once a week to fuck, we come out once a day to eat, and we go back to our fucking rooms. And really that sums it up. People need alone time without feeling neglected. Because familiarity breeds contempt. And when two people are together all the time, they are invariably going to start to hate each other. Little things become big things become...
But that's the case. Why get married in the first place so that way you can have the whole fucking house to yourself?
That's a good question. I don't know why people get married. I think it's a show of respect. I mean, that's why I'm engaged. I'm willing to marry my woman just to show her that you're enough for me forever. Which is true.
Whoa. You're going to become a legal couple? I didn't realize this.
Well,
Did I know this?
We're engaged.
Which
is the new married. Yeah.
So are you going to take her last name?
No. But she doesn't have to take my last name either. I think that's a retarded concept. But it is going to fuck up a bunch of family trees now that people are fucking around with last names.
She knows you're engaged, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Got down on my swollen ass knee, pulled the ring out, and I said, "Lady, would you take this cheap ring that I've bought you?
$80 at the airport store.
I bet you
And
actually
would you
sang
cook
that.
for me forever and clean up?" And she's like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah, whatever. You know, she's probably engaged to that black gentleman with the bigger penis.
It's possible, and I don't take anything for granted.
You know, my father-in-law still introduces me as his daughter's current husband.
Oh no! My ex-mother-in-law used to call me husband number 2, literally.
Yeah, because you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, I think all men are a piece of shit to some degree, but my ex-wife is on her 4th husband or 5th husband now, so you knew that was coming.
It'll probably last.
She was on her 4th husband before the age of 30, swear to God. And she
You know,
thought the problem was with the men.
Well, obviously.
And I started thinking, maybe you should look at you. Because maybe the problem isn't with the men, since none of them are good enough for you.
Louie, how many kids do you have out there, buddy?
0.
No,
I don't believe that.
Illegitimate count, too.
0.
I don't believe
Really? I don't believe him either.
He's got at
All
least
right.
11.
Yeah, wink. For each one wink.
Costa Ricans fuck all the time.
Yeah, they do. They mate constantly.
Well, I'm the unicorn then.
Ah, the
Do you
rare
have
one.
slow sperm, or?
Nah, I just use a thing called a condom.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to play a little game called What If. So I don't know if you guys knew about this, but Will Shatner was asked, what would happen if Canada and the United States went to war? And he said, I'm obligated to kill Americans. Louie Beeeee, let's say Puerto Rico decides, you know, I know they're tiny, but let's say fuck it. They've got a couple nukes. They decide, you know what, United States, we're going to war. Do you have to kill Americans? Are you obligated by a national connection to Puerto Rico to kill the Americans? Or are you confused in that case?
Well, you're talking about a people that had a terrorist plot against Congress back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys remember.
What was that? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Was there a
Hold
name
on, let
for
me.
it?
I put the.
Tripping.
They were, okay.
I don't remember it. So why
The
didn't they pull it off?
the Puerto Rican Liberation, the Armed Forces of the National Liberation, was a Puerto Rican clandestine paramilitary organization. And hold
I
on,
think that was a PLO, Louis.
No,
Different
that's
country.
Palestinian Liberation
Yeah.
Organization. And
No.
they had black guys. So
Yeah, Patty Hearst, remember that?
remember
Okay.
that.
The the FALN took responsibility for 4 bombings in New York City by leaving their communique number 4 for the Associated Press at a phone booth. The 4 bombs went off within 40 minutes. The first bomb exploded at 51 Madison Avenue. This was back in April 3rd, 1975. Let me see.
It's the longest
God,
yes or no I've ever heard.
Yeah, they failed. They didn't blow up Congress.
So would you kill Whitey or not?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's good. I need to get that out there. Now, Guy, you've got some ties to some European nations. If they decided to go to war with America, would you feel obligated to kill Americans?
If I were in Luxembourg, let's say,
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely. I would have to. I would. You know what? Now, a lot of Americans do need to be killed regardless what
True.
country you're from.
Yeah.
So that, once again, I think many Americans, not just, there's just a lot of humans that need to be dead. I don't mean that in a evilish way necessarily.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I do. And, you know, the problem is, and it goes back to that goddamn 10 items or less line, all of those people need to be dead, honestly.
Yeah.
I count the items. I mean, you know, I can see 11 or 12, but when you got 48 fucking items, come on. That's
Yeah.
not close to 10. So,
They
yeah.
should be killed.
Yeah, they need to die.
Who else should be killed? I know George Carlin used to have a whole list of people he thought should be killed, and the last people he attacked was the cigar smokers. He said, that's not a cigar, it's a big fat cock in your mouth. And I was like, cigars? Everybody likes cigars. Why is he picking on them? You know?
I'd say Dollar Man, but he hung himself. I guess it would be redundant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dollar Man.
Why would Robin Williams kill himself? He had everything you could want, and he could buy drugs if he didn't have everything he wanted.
He also had crushing fucking alimony payments.
Oh.
Yeah. I think he was just doing that autoerotica thing, and they were just sort of like, all right, we don't want to say he was jerking off and fucking hung himself by accident. I think he was just having sexual pleasure, and it went a little too far, and that's what happened. Forget the note.
Aren't there drugs out there that do more than an orgasm for you? Why not just buy the drugs instead of going through all that hell of having to choke yourself to have a good orgasm?
That gets me back to Happy Pill Day, by the way. That was probably the most patronizing I've heard in a while. Thank you.
I was waiting for you to go, it's Pill Day.
No. See, I can't get into it. I'm not allowed to talk.
We can talk about drugs, sex, and rock and roll.
We did. And Louie never, I don't believe Louie does not take a form of drug.
I'm sure he does, but it may be legal.
Yes. Louie, we need to know your drug habits.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Insulin?
That's it?
Oh, Christ. A diabetic Puerto Rican. Great.
Do you shoot extra insulin so you get fucked up and have sweats and stuff?
No.
Do you freebase it or?
Well, what I like to do is I put it in my porridge.
Why is that funny? I don't know. But
Louie Beeeee. I don't know. I was just going with the crowd. Do you pretend sometimes that you're shooting heroin up in the comedy club and it's just insulin shot? Oh, God, the police are here.
Well, not if heroin came in a pen, I guess. I don't know. That shit would be hilarious. I mean, I don't know.
Have you ever smoked weed?
Once.
So you did do illegal drugs?
Just once with my cousin.
Why only the once though? What happened that made you said I don't want that anymore?
I didn't like how I felt.
How did you feel?
Fucking lazy and fucking like I felt like lead.
You sure that
Same
wasn't
here, man.
genetic?
That's why I won't touch the shit. It just makes me want to go to sleep and makes me irritable.
Yeah, like I had to take a shit and I was just like I couldn't like get up from the couch.
That's kind of funny though. Did you have Cheetos?
So you were lethargic.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I kind of if it's gonna be a drug, I need if they make weed that makes me like want to do shit.
It's called meth.
Yeah, I don't want to do meth.
I don't blame you. So you would rather do cocaine, basically.
I don't know, something that won't fuck my system up.
See, what I mean, that is a lighter version of cocaine. Something that's not so heavy duty. Louis would do that. I probably would do that. What's in between coffee and cocaine?
I don't know. I like if they made it, like I do like the fact that weed lowered my blood sugar though.
Oh. Well, see, that's the big push, the legal marijuana, medical marijuana.
Yeah.
So, all you opiate folks out there, yeah, they're going back to the weed.
And they're going to hate me because I grew up during the drug war. I grew up during Nancy Reagan saying, just say no. So
did I.
Taught that people that smoke weed are losers for 20, 30 years, and now I've got to reverse my position. And all the weed smokers are going to be like, you can't pick on weed smokers. They've proven it's more effective than Big Pharma. And I'm going, wait, man, this is an entire culture shift happening right before my eyes, and I'm not ready for it. So now we're being taught that weed smoking is better than taking pills, that it actually helps cancer patients and this and that. And I don't know how to feel about that.
Well, the math is actually, it is much better in comparison to any opiate. I don't smoke weed because I don't know why I don't smoke weed, actually. I have to think about that.
It's probably because that anti-drug war campaign got to your head over a course of a couple decades. They were only picking on weed,
No, I'm pretty sure that's not it, because I'm all for the opiates. I'm not saying you should take opiates, but Okay, you've got medication for pain. I mean, that's what it's for. Then you got the stigma of the pills, but the medication works to some degree. So now you're